My name is Akhil Goyal. I'm working in CDAC Mohali as a security analyst. And today our topic is information gathering. I will explain you what is the information gathering. During this session, we will do practical demos as well as practical, see all the tools which are available online and offline uh, required for information gathering. Okay. I'm starting my session. Information gathering. If we talk about as a point of penetration tester, so it is one of the first and important step to find the vulnerabilities, to find the weaknesses, or to enter into a website. Information gathering is one of the four most important step and first step for any hacker or pen tester. Okay, so what is information gathering? I will this is information gathering is act of gathering different kind of information against the targeted victim or system. Information gathering is the first and foundation step in the success of penetration testing. The more useful information you have about the target, the more you can find vulnerabilities in the target and find more serious problems in the target by exploiting them. In other words, I will give you an example. For example, we need a mobile phone. We search for that phone. We look into its specifications on internet, whether it is how much RAM it is having, what is the processor of that phone, and what are the other things which are required, what is the camera specifications, all the things we look into the phone. Once we get all the details of the phone, if we are if their specification meets our requirements, then we buy that phone. Okay. uh, in another example, suppose we have borders between India and other countries. Recently, India has done a surgical strike in Pakistan. So, what have for surgical strike, we need a counterparts, all the information. What are their actual deployments? What are the army structure there? How many terrorists are there? How uh, their boundary walls are located? What are their geospatial coordinates? All these things. How can our fighter jets manage their airspace and go there? All these things we need to. Indian Army is has to be in hand so that they can attack the enemy. So similarly, in case of web testing or penetration testing, we need all the target information. We need all the information about the target website. What what is the kind of operating system it is using? What is the application versions? What are the technology versions? Whether it is on ASP. .NET framework, whether it is on PHP framework, whether it is on Java. So all these technical requirements we need to know before entering into any website. So more the information we are having, it more easy task for a penetration tester. So it is also known as footprinting and scanning. So what is the objective of footprinting? To understand what sensitive design and configuration information of the application, system, organization is exposed, both directly or indirectly or through a third-party website. It is of two types, passive footprinting and active footprinting. So what is passive footprinting? Passive footprinting is the method of information gathering of any website uh, without entering into the actual host or website. Uh, for example, we suppose we need to collect an information about google.com or any other website. We should not directly interact with that website through third party tools such as Harvester, Netcraft. Mailtago, etc. There are numerous amount of tools available in the market, which are offline and online tools are also there. So through which we can gather all the information about the domain. Once we get the information about the domain, there are numerous amounts of exploitations available to enter into that website. Okay. And active footprinting is the method in which we actually interact with the website. So we try to brute force into the login account. We try to see all the that available technologies on which websites are made. We try to find the errors in that websites or its URLs. So when we actually interact with the website, it is known as active footprinting. So we have tools, example Nmap, Nikto, etc. for these things. These are the some tools for passive footprinting. These are site, all in title, and in title, in URL, file type. As we move on during the session, we will see all these things. Then there is NSLOOKUP tool to perform forward and reverse DNS lookups. Netcraft, it is online research tool allowing queries for host information. MetaGoofil, Robotex, etc. So what is actually an information gathering? It is of different kind. We can manually explore the site. These are all crawling methods. Okay. Spider crawl for missed or hidden content. The tools we are using Burpsuite for this. Check for files and that expose content such as robots.txt, sitemap.xml.ds store. These are checked through browser. Perform web application fingerprinting. This is done by inspector or web development tools we got by simple pressing F12. Okay. Then how we identify the technologies? There is another tool known as Weblyzer. It can be installed directly in the Chrome and Firefox web, extensions. So this tool gives us what are the JavaScripts that particular website is using, what are the technology on which this website has been built. Then there is an identify user roles. This can be done manually through browser. Then identify entry points. How many entry points are there? How many login points are there? How many logout points are there? How many dynamic pages are there? How many static pages are there? This is also done manually through browser. Identify client-side code. This is done by inspector, that is or development tools, which is inbuilt feature of browser. Then identify versions, channels, that is what is the versions of web. If it is a web application, what is the version of mobile web? It is a mobile application. What are the web services it is using, APIs which is using? It is also done through inspector. Then identify the co-host and related applications. This is also done by browser or Whois-lookup. Whois-lookup is a command or online available tool through which we can, when we put a domain name or website URL, we get all the information about that website, whether how this which service provider has provided the domain name, how much is the expiry time, whether it is a HTTP or HTTPS. All this information we get through Whois command. Then identify all the host names and ports. This can be done by open source tools such as Nmap, Zenmap, Netcraft. There are variety of numbers of tools which are available. So to start information gathering, we must be aware of HTTP status codes. I think in previous presentation also, ma'am has discussed about little bit about these codes. So today we will see how these codes are working. So there are lots, 5 categories of status codes. One is informational, second is successful, third is redirection, fourth is client error, and fifth is server error. Okay, so from this is the basic structure of request header and response header. Okay, so what these actually means, 200 OK means valid response. When we put some URL into the browser and execute the request, the website get opens. So it means that it is a valid response, that website is executed successfully. 301 move means move permanently. 302 means redirection. Let us see, for example, now I am pressing F12, that is a developer mode. See, this is the developer mode. By pressing F12, I got this. So here is a network tab. We just click here. Now I have put google.com in the URL. See here. Are you getting some problem in viewing this window? Is it okay now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll tell you again. I have just put the google.com into the this one browser and press F12. Now we are here, we got an developer mode. Okay. Now I have just clicked network tab. So see, all the status codes are shown here: 200, 204, 204, 302. All these status codes are shown here. So when we have to get some information about any website, the first step we use is read these status codes, whether this website has been executed successfully or not. Okay, if there is some error, then we have to look into this. Okay, so this is the simplest method and first step from where we collect the information about headers. Okay, so when I move forward, I will show you some website in which some vulnerability should be there, or from which we can get the information. So if we want to see what are the JavaScripts which has been used by Google, then we just click here JS. All the JavaScripts are here. So we can see what are the JavaScripts which has been used by google.com. Okay. So from here we all get all the information about status codes. This is the inspector tool from where we get all the coding information, client side coding information, what this google.com has done. So these are the status codes. 301 move permanently, 302 move permanently, 400 bad requests. In my next slide, I will tell you all these things. Internal server error status code is 501, 500, sorry, and 501 is not implemented, 502 bad gateway, 503 service unavailable, etc. So from the major source of getting an information about any website or loopholes, we can say, or what are the technologies that website are using, what are the ports that websites are using, what are the servers, application servers that website is using, is a custom error pages. These are the major source of fetching the information. The default error page of a web application should not display any sensitive information of the software system. The pen tester searches for the error pages and get a maximum amount of information which is available to him. Okay, so what is the impact of these error pages? There says default error pages gives detailed information about the error that occurred and should not be used in production environments. Attackers can leverage the additional information provided by a default error page to mount attacks targeted on the framework, database, or other resources used by the application. The impact may vary depending upon the condition. Generally, this includes poor coding practices, not enough error checking, sanitization, and whitelisting. However, there might be a bigger issue such as SQL injections. So, if these error pages are not handled properly, they might be a cause of releasing a bigger issues such as SQL injections. So these error pages must be sanitized properly in order to uh, sanitize your complete website. So what are the information responses? Just I have discussed this status codes. 100 means continue. This in turn response indicates that everything so far is okay and that the client should continue the request or ignore the response if the request is already finished. 101 switching protocol. This code is sent in response to an upgrade request header from the client and indicates the protocol the server is switching to. 102 processing. This code indicates that the server has received and is processing the request, but no response is available yet. 103 early hints. This status code is primarily intended indeed to be used with the link header, letting the user agent start preloading resources while the server prepares the response. Then there is a successful responses. This number is from 200 to 299. We will discuss few of them here which are important. 200 okay. Just I have shown you in my Google that 200 okay means the request has been submitted successfully. The 200 okay means that we have executed the request successfully. 200 okay. Status code 200 okay. What is the version of the HTTP header? HTTP 2. So we get the information that Google is using HTTP 2 header and status code is 200 okay. This means that this URL is okay and executed successfully. Uh, 201 created, the request has succeeded and now a new resource has been created as a result. This is typically the response sent after post request or some put request. 202 accepted, the request has been received but not yet acted upon. That is, the request is in queue. Uh, it indeed for the cases where process or server handles the request or for batch processing. When we execute some batch processing request, so we get this 202 type response. 203 non-authoritative information. This response code means the returned meta information is not exactly the same as is available from the origin server, but is collected from the local or third-party copy. 204 no content. There is no content to send for this request. That means your request is executed, but there is no content available. 205 reset content tells the user agent to reset the document which sent his request, which this sent this request. Then there are 300 multiple choice. This request has more than one possible response. The user agent or user should choose one of them. 301 move permanently. This means that your URL you are looking for has been removed or changed permanently from that location. So when there is no URL found at the particular location you have searched for, then this response comes that this URL or page has been removed permanently. 302 found. This response code means that the URL of request resource has been changed temporarily. Means when we execute some page request, this if this error comes or this status code comes, this means that URL was there but now temporarily has been shifted to some other place. 304 not modified. This is used for caching purposes. It tells the client that the response has not been modified, so the client can continue to use the same cached version of the response. 305 use proxy indicate that the requested response must be accessed by a proxy. It has been deprecated due to security concerns regarding in banned configuration of proxy. 308 permanent redirect. This means that the resource is now permanently located at another URL specified by the location. HTTP response header. This has the same semantics as the 301 moved permanently HTTP response code, with the exception that the user agent must not change the HTTP method used. If a post was used in the first request, a post method must be used in the second request. Then there are client error messages 400 to 409. 400 bad requests you must have seen many times when you put some URL and it gives 400 bad request message. This means that the server could not understand the request or your submission is invalid. Your syntax is invalid. You have some problem in submitting the URL or your typing is wrong. Then you are typing a URL, it is misspelled. 401 unauthorized. The client must authenticate itself to get the requested response. This means that client should have some authority to execute this request, or there is some mechanism. This is mainly used in repositories. Basically, when we build some repositories and we have uh, uh, our team to access or when limited access to the people, so these repositories have username and passwords. So if someone else try to access this repository, then this 401 error occurs. 403 forbidden. The client does not have access rights to the content, that is, it is unauthorized. So the server is refusing to give the requested resource. Unlike 401, the client's identity is known to the server. 404 not found. This must you have encountered many times. The server cannot find the requested resource in the browser. This means the URL is not recognized by the server. Or server must not having hosted this application or something else. So this means that the server don't recognize your request which you have made. 405 method not allowed. The requested method is known by the server but has been disabled and cannot be used. 408 request timeout. For example, there is some issue in network or the request is made through proxy or maybe any kind of issue due to which there is a connection problem with the server. So when after few time after few seconds or after minutes. If there is no connection between the server, then this status code is given 408 request timeout. Then there are server error messages. These are the messages which are given by the server when our request is not fulfilled or server is not able to understand the request. So it is thrown by the server side. 500 internal server error. The server has encountered a situation it does not know how to handle. When there is a situation occurs, then when the server does not know how to handle this situation, it throws 500 internal server error. 502 bad gateway. This error response means that the server, while working as a gateway to get a response needed to handle the request, got an invalid response. 503 service unavailable. The service unavailable. Service is unavailable. The service is not ready to handle this request. Maybe due to server is overloaded or it is under maintenance. Maybe it may be of any reason. So if server is not able to handle this request, then it throws 503 service unavailable request. 505 HTTP version not supported. The HTTP version used in the request is not supported by the server. Suppose your server is managed for processing the request of HTTP2 header and your website is built on HTTP1. So it will not, it will throw this message 505 HTTP version not supported. HTTP request methods. Now we have got a general information, what are the status codes, what are the types of status codes. So for information gathering, we should know what are the types of HTTP request methods available. For example, in just we have seen 200 OK. Okay. So we have in Google, we see that get, we here see here get. Okay. This is a HTTP method. Get means used to retrieve information from the given URL. This means that get method is used to fetch some information which is available on the server. Okay, all the information we get in the get method. Post used to send data to the server, for example customer information, file upload, etc. using HTML forms. For example, we have a URL a website in which there is a username and password. So when we enter a username and password, our request is sent to the server for authentication. When something is sent to the server, then it is sent in the post request or post method. It is known as post request. Delete a file of the specified URL. Put uploads a file of the specified URL. Trace on a JSP resource returns to the content of a resource. Head get only HTTP headers and no document body. Options HTTP methods that the server supports. These are all HTTP request methods. So basic ports. HTTP works on port number 80, HTTPS on 443, FTP on 21 or 20, SMTP on 25, 587, SSH on 22, Telnet on 23, POP3 on 1110, 110, DNS on port number 53, DHCP on 68, SMB on 445. By using tools such as Nmap and Zenmap, the tester can explore what are the ports open currently open for that website. So if tester has knowledge about these basic ports, then it can easily resemble that if port 80 is open, then it directly means that HTTP service is available. If 22 is open, then this means that SSH service is available. If port number 53 is open, then this means that DNS service is available. So by knowing these ports, the tester can know what services are currently open for that website. So I have just told you about the basic structure of headers. So for an information gathering step, we should know these five uh, things that are in the headers. Okay, so there is a server, there is X powered by XASP.NET version, X generator, E-tag. So server means that what may sometimes these uh, parameters are open. For example, if we, I will show you an example in my further practical. That server, if server tag is open here, see you can see server here. We see that Apache 2.2.23 Unix. So when we see the headers, we see these parameters for information gathering. This means that this website is working on Apache 2.2.3 and it is a Unix based operating system, and SSL is using OpenSSL 0.9 and it is developed on PHP. Okay, these are the things that we have to uh, keep in mind for information gathering. Now there are various methods for getting or discovering error pages through which we can gather an information. So these are known as website crawling. Okay, so yeah, you all know that there are various technologies available to develop an website, ASP.NET, then there is Java, then there is uh, PHP, numerous amount of frameworks, numerous amount of technologies available. So there is a different method of discovering error page for every technology. So I am taking this website as an example. Okay, santramhospitals.in. We will start something through which we can gather some information about this website. So first of all, just I have told you that we will see all the status codes. We are getting 200 status code. This means that we have executed this website successfully. Now we will select this, and this is the header information about of this website. What is that? Get, it is get type of request. Its status code is 200. Okay, version is HTTP 1.1. Now as I have earlier mentioned you in this, that we have to see all these parameters in the header: server, X powered by X ASP version, X generator, E tag, etc. Now here we will look into this. Server, we are getting information. I have just entered the URL into the browser and open the developer mode and clicked on this 200 status code. Okay, now I am selecting this headers from here and getting all the information. What is the information? This is the information that this website is based or on Microsoft IIS 8.5. See here, IIS 8.5. Then we are getting on which ASP version it is using, 4.0, powered by ASP.NET. Okay, so from all these things, the once we get all these things, we are confirmed that this website is based on ASP.NET. Okay, so we can now exploit the uh, this ASP.NET framework through various technologies or tools available online. Okay, so uh, in another example, I'll show you one another example. This is a Bits Pilani website. Okay, and you can see here also this website is using Microsoft IIS 7.5 server, XASP.NET version 4.3, powered by ASP.NET. This means this website is also built on ASP.NET framework. Now by using Stack Overflow, or there are various other GitHub, we can exploit these websites. What are the various ways to exploit these websites, or through which we can get more information about these websites, is to crawl manually or through tools. These are the crawling methods for ASP.NET websites. If we put this thing ~sign and .aspx at the end of the URL, it may be a chance to get some error page. For example, I'll just put this on one of the example I have taken. Okay, entered. Now what I can see, this page is giving me error. So from here, what I am getting, Microsoft.NET Framework version, ASP.NET Framework version. Okay, so this is the method through which an tester or a hacker collects the information about the website. So once I came to know that this is a .NET website, now I can exploit the methods of exploiting this framework 4.0.3 or 4.8.43 and get a deep penetration into this website. So as I have told, that it all depends upon the technology on which we have to do the crawling and what type of crawling is required there. This I will tell you how you came to know that what are the things that we have to put into the end of the URL, or to get the error pages or custom error pages, so that we can get the information. First, we should look into this, that for ASP.NET website, we should put a pipe sign ~aspx. If you are lucky, like I am, I will get some information about the website. Then there is another method. You can use trace.axt at the end of the URL. This is also for ASP.NET. Then we can use examples directory for Apache Tomcat. If the website is dependent upon Apache Tomcat server, then we can put examples. If we are lucky, then we get something from that. Then we can put error page.htm for ASP.NET and Apache. Then another error page.htm for ASP.NET, web.xml for Java, error.jsp for Java web applications, url.htaccess for Apache servers, then git ignore for sensitive resource files. If our website is built on PHP, then we can put phpinfo.php, adminer PHP or URL db.php for database connectivity of PHP, PHP myadmin for unprotected DB interface. Then there is robots.txt file for sensitive information disclosure. So how do we get that? We have to put robots.txt or adminer.php or phpinfo.php. How do we get? For example, we just came to know that our website is based on YII framework. Okay, so now we have to search for the structure of YII framework, and the best website available to search the structure of YII framework is GitHub. Even every structure can be found, framework structure can be found on GitHub easily. For example, suppose my website is based on YII framework. Just do Google YII framework GitHub. Here I get all the structure of YII framework. This is the whole structure of YII framework. So I have to just, for example, I just found that my website is built on YII framework. Then at the end of at the end of the URL, I will put all these files: composer.json, upgrade, readme, license, changelog, etc. Hopefully, I get something from this. Okay. For example, PHP framework, PHP GitHub. This is the basic structure of PHP. I have just shown you git ignore, readme, composer.json, JSON. All these things are available on GitHub. Structure is available on GitHub. We have to just hit and run at the end of the URL. Okay. Similarly for WordPress, especially. So from here we can get any structure and we can put that files at the end of that URL so that we can get some information about this particular website. These are the common web server version disclosures. Okay, so there is a pre-vulnerable website DVWA. We have just put ABCD and we got the Apache 2.4.29 OpenSSL, all these things. Okay, then in another example, just I have showed you, I have put this pipe sign tail sign dot ASPX and I get this information and I have got this version of ASP.NET Framework. This is the method of information gathering. In another example, we have got the information of .NET Framework. So if I put tracing configuration, see here 404 file not found. So this is a status code which I have earlier told you, and trace.txt, that this is a missing custom error page basically. Here, one vulnerability is showing you the path disclosure, internal path disclosure, which is highlighted here. Security audit code, bootstrap, CSS fonts, all this, that IIS is installed on this path. So from here we get to know about the path where these files are stored. Okay, so these are some of the examples how to collect information. Now for ports, now one I have earlier told you that these are the basic ports. Now, if we want to know that what are the ports available or opened for the particular website, there are lots of tools available in the market. Nmap, Zenmap. If you are working on Windows, then Zenmap is a tool which is a UI for Nmap. And if you are working on Linux or Kali, then you can use Nmap tool. So I'll just give you an example by searching which ports are available. How to search that which ports are open. I have pre-installed Zenmap tool. Okay, this is the Zenmap, and this is the command nmap hyphen t hyphen 4 hyphen t4 hyphen a hyphen b. I just put the URL here. For example, suppose when we are putting the URL in Zenmap, then there is no need of HTTPS protocol or HTTP. You have to just put the URL and run scan. So see, This is a website ofa.tcpharyana.gov.in. So all the information about this website will get what are the ports available currently. I'll show you the website. This is the website. See here, all ZenMap has discovered all these ports are open. Discovered open port 1110, 80, 21, 143, 443, 25, 8008 and 8010. If a pen tester know what service is working on this port, he can easily exploit these ports for this website and enter into the website. So this is the information that we are getting for this website is that these all ports are currently open for this website. Okay. If we need a detailed what operating system, what version is it is using, then there is a command nmap -a. Then URL name, open another -a means it aggressively search for the domain. It will give additional information with the ports. Let's see what it gives us the result. I'm just closing this one. I think there is some problem. It is not scanning. We will see into the next session what is the issue. See, I will show you the post method. I was just talking about the post method earlier. I have just opened the developer mode. I have just written some abc@gmail.com. Okay, then anything. CAPTCHA is not valid for this. I think they are having some problem in CAPTCHA. Now we just log in. See, we are getting an error message, okay, in this. But what we are getting additional information in this is post method. It is giving internal server error, means server is not getting your query, okay. Then what we have entered, come here, request. You see here, user password. It is encrypted. In some cases, the user password is traveled in clear text format. So from this also, a pen tester can uh, gain some information whether the password is encrypted or not. If it is not encrypted, then there are various tools available through which the pen tester can get the by brute forcing or something else. Pen tester can get the crack into the password. Okay, if it is encrypted, then it must be somewhat difficult for the tester. So this is the most important point, that for the information gathering. Okay, we will take 10 minutes break, and in next class we will start open source intelligence. This is also a part of information gathering, and we will study this at 12. Okay. Open source intelligence. Okay. So what is open source intelligence? Open source intelligence is a collection of information available publicly on the internet, social media sites, mass media, specialist journals and research, photos and geospatial spatial information. Okay, hackers use this information to identify technical vulnerabilities as well as human targets for phishing and social engineering attacks. As a result, pen testing and security teams deploy similar techniques to find and close down weaknesses. So, in other words, what is open source intelligence? It can be accessed. Open source intelligence is a information which is publicly available on internet. Okay, it can be accessed without specialized skills or tools, although it can include sources only available to subscribers, such as newspaper content behind a paywall or subscription journals. So what are the common techniques for open source intelligence? Every pen tester has its own way to gather information by using its preferred tools. So there are lots of tools available to gather the information, whether it is regarding ports, collect information regarding the ports, or information regarding the error messages, or information regarding the this uh, versions, uh, information regarding the JavaScripts, etc. There are lots of tools available in the market for information gathering. Okay, the most common technique is to target subjects, including non-technical sources such as organizations' annual reports or financial filings. associated news coverage, as well as content on its websites and YouTube and similar services. So now everybody is exposed to social media platform. We are on Twitter, we are on Facebook, we are on YouTube, uh, we are on Google search. Everywhere we are uh, available. So the hackers or pen testers or the testers use this available information uh, to for the information gathering. One of the simplest and most effective tools is using search engines. Search engines are made such that when we search for some particular word, it gives an enormous amount of information. So it is the most uh, simplest and hub of getting the information. It is often associated with social media and human tools. It can equally be used alongside security scanners to find problems with physical assets and IT systems. Open source intelligence tools pick up and problem data such as date of birth, social security numbers, family members, or even hobbies that can help attackers to compromise an account. For example, if we are wishing someone on Facebook, we are wishing birthday, happy birthday, someone on Facebook, we are unintentionally exposing his or her date of birth to public. So attackers can use this information also uh, to for information gathering. So this is the framework of OSI NIT INT. This is the framework. So what kind of information is available? Username, email address, domain name, IP address, images, videos, documents, social networks, instant messaging, people search engines, okay, dating sites are available, telephone numbers, tools are available, then public records are available, business records are available, transportation records are available, geolocation tools, maps, search engines, forms, blogs, IRC, archives, all these things are available. So language transition, metadata, mobile emulation, terrorism, dark web, digital currency, everything is available on the internet. So to access every information, there is a different categories. So for example, if I want to access IP addresses, so what kind of IP addresses it should be of geolocation IP address, host port discovery, IPv4, IPv6, BGP. So suppose I have to discover a port for a particular website. There are enormous number of tools available. Shodan, Mr. Looker, Scans, ZoomEye, Nmap, Internet Sensors. These are our tools here. I'll show you live framework of OSINT. So this whole information is available publicly. Just wait. This is the URL https://osintframework.com. I'll show you once it is open. So this is the framework. I'm closing this. Okay. So this is the framework which is available online for gathering the open source information which is available publicly. So for username, what kind of search engines? Okay, suppose username search engines I am using. So there are lots of tools available. Name check. What do you want to? There is a tool name check. Then no EM, name checker, user search. What's my name? That's them. Check username. Check name checkup. Instant username, etc. Specific sites. If we have to check a username of specific site, then Amazon usernames. There is a tool in which All the Amazon usernames are available. Then Amazon wish lists are available. Suppose we are shopping on Amazon and we have a wish list created currently, that product is not available on the market and Amazon. So we put this in our wish list. So there are tools which can access the wish list of the users. Then there are Tinder usernames. If anybody is using Tinder website or Tinder app, there are tools which can access Tinder usernames. Then there are keybases, MIT, PGP servers, etc. So similarly, for domain names, there are lots of uh, things available. If we want to search records, then there is DN stable, domain dossier, domain IQ, domain tools, DN stable. Who is Aaron? There are lots of tools. Subdomains. For subdomains, we have X-Ray, Recon NG, Google subdomains, GoBuster, Bluto. These all tools, most of the tools are available online. If some tool is not available online, then we have to physically install it on our system. Okay. Similarly, for IP addresses, for IPv4, there are lots of tools, IP to ASCAN, hacker target, etc. For IPv6, there are another tools, CIDR report. Dating sites, there are lots of tools, match.com, ay.com, plenty of fish, farmers only, Zoosk, Tinder R, Vamba.com, Bodo, Spark, Meetup. All these tools are available. For public records, we have lots of tools. Property records, these are the tools available. For code records, these are the tools available. So everything which is available online publicly is a source of information. So intelligence agencies use open source intelligence to track events. Equipment such as weapon systems and people, these are the targets of interest. So today, in today's world, most of the information, 90% of the information is gathered through these open source, through this open source information. Okay. It is very damaging to the clients. Suppose some application is attached with the uh, payment gateway. So unintentionally, we are um, the application attached with the payment gateway. We are having a transaction of our credit card or UPI pay. So unintentionally, we are exposing our cards number, our CVV number, etc. So this information is very available on the internet readily. Some hackers or there are tools available which can gather this information and you misuse this information. There are another tools that I want to show: transcription, geolocation, search engines. Lots of search engines are available. General search engine, so Google, Bing, DuckDuckGo, Start Page, Baidu, Google Advanced Search, Insta. To look into some of these tools. छत्तीस नंबर में. So what kind of information is available? Suppose we are using LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is one of the most used network among employees or employers. So there is a massive amount of information there. If you can find out how an email or username is constructed, there are lots of tools available to construct the username and email. You can look at past credential leak and have good chance of finding a way into a network. So we have enormous amount of data available on the LinkedIn. We have our mail IDs, we have our resumes. All these things are available openly on the LinkedIn. So if anybody knows how to construct or how to use these email IDs to construct a passwords, then our credentials can easily leak. For example, intentionally we sometimes click a picture and post on the Instagram or Facebook. These picture may contain a key card with the hotel number, hotel key card with the room number, or anything else. Unintentionally, we just post some pictures. So some floor plans of an location, etc. We anything it can be there. A pet's name or a version of office used to create a document may seem insignificant, but it can be used to inform a potential cyber attack. There is a social media platform, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc. These are the main source of information. So there are lots of tools available. Uh, the most important tool is Shodan. Shodan, what is Shodan? Shodan is an IoT device search engine used to find unsecured equipment on LANs and other hardware based weak spots. I'll show you. Shodan. This is the website of Shodan, https shodan.io. So what we can do with this, I am opening this website, shodan.io. This is the Shodan. This is the search bar in Shodan. Suppose I want to know which network is using Apache server. How many networks are using Apache server? So I just search Apache and enter. This will give me the result. See, uh, in United States, 7,893,887 users website users who are using Apache. In Germany, this, China, this, France, this. All the information is available on the net. See here, common name R3 supported by SSL version, parameters. This is the website. This is the Apache version which is company is using. Okay. Then another in Netherlands, Amsterdam, Apache using home. Assembly equipments manufacturers for SMTN through hole DDN Novstar. This is situated in United States using Apache server. So everything we can search from internet. All this information is available online. So these are the numbers. These are the top operating systems, Windows 6.1 or Unix, Linux. Okay, top products which are used and top countries which are using Apache. All the information is available here. Then there is another tool, Google Dorking. Lesser tool than a technique. Google Dorking involves using specialist search terms to find results not visible to a natural language search. I will explain Google Dorking in detail. Once I have finished, I will finish this OSINT topic, then I will explain all these Google Dorking things practically in few minutes. Okay. Then there is another tool, gHunt. gHunt is a tool for finding information with the Google ID. This is available online. and we can find all the information about that email ID. Then there is an Intel OWL. Pulls together threat analysis tool feeds into a single API. Rangine, an open source tool for arranging recon feeds. Social Mapper, developed by Trustwave, uses facial recognition as well as usernames to track targets across platforms. Then Spiderfoot. This is an automation tool available in open source and commercial versions. The Harvester. This is one of the most important tools. Helps to determine a company's external threat landscape on the internet by gathering emails, names, subdomains, IPs, and URLs. So we'll look some of the tools here. There is a name checker. What does name checker tool do? I'll show you. I'll open this. This is an online tool, name checker. So we will check. Suppose there is a organization or a company. I just put Organic Hatti randomly. Organic Hatti. Okay. So this tool tells us that Organic Hatti is available on which platform. For example, I just search Organic Hatti. So it is checking. So I get the information that organichatti.com is not available. It is available on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr. This name is available. If anyone wants to use this name, it can use Reddit, Slack. Similarly, we can load many more. All these platforms have the Organic Hatti, but organichatti.com is already taken. Okay. So we get the information that on GitHub it is available, on Foursquare it is available, Flickr it is available. If anybody wants another domain of organichatti.ca, it is available, or it is available on Facebook. So this is the information we get from this namechecker.com. Then there is another website, BuiltWith. This is another tool which tells us that BuiltWith, this website is built with what. So I'm opening this. Suppose we take the same Organic Hatti. So it is looking up. So this is the Organic Hatti structure schema, SSL certificate. List of websites using organization schema, organic software. So all these results are there. Again, I will search organichatti.com. Search with this. See, there is a website organichatti.com. It is built in WordPress plugin. Using WordPress plugins, it has contact form plugin 7. It has font awesome plugin. It has Google Font API. It has Elementor. All the information is available here. All the information is available here for Organic Hatti. What is the detailed technology? WordPress plugin. It was first detected in January 2001, then last detected in March 2021. Contact form. All these things is used in organichatti.com website. You can search any URL, any website, any domain, the technology which is available on the internet. Then there is another tool, Have I Been Pwned? This tool tells us that how many times my email has been breached. Just open this. Suppose I am entering my email. I will check online. Oh no, pwned. Means there is no breach of my email. Any email can be checked here that it how many times it has been breached. Suppose there is another email. I'll check this email also, double confirm. So this is also found in 7 data breaches and found no paste. So this is the result. My email has been found 7 times. So these are the tools which are available for gathering open source intelligence information. Then there is another tool, check usernames. This is also an online tool. I just open this check usernames. Let's see what it gives us the result. So this is the usernames, whether username is available or not. Suppose I'm checking this. So see, I have choose randomly username that I have to check it is available in which website or it is available or not. So on eBay it is available, or Tumblr it is available, Pinterest it is available, Blogger it is available. It is not available on YouTube, it is not available on Wikipedia, it is not available on LinkedIn, Twitter, it is not available on House, Empire Avenue, Empire Avenue. It is not available on NG4. So these are the tools which we through which we can check online which username is available on which website. Okay, so this is the main source of open source intelligence gathering. Bean verified. There is another tool, Bean verified. What is that tool mean? Let's check. Bean verified. This is another online tool. Beanverified.com. I have been verified or not. Suppose my name is Akhil Goyal. Now I will search this. This is basically, I think, a paid tool. When it reports a generator, it will ask for money. So updating data on Akhil. If you narrow down the search, then you can use this. Suppose Mohali, and states. I think this is for a broad website, or I am not sure. Forward. What is your age, middle name? Suppose I want to skip this, then also I can skip this step. Skip this. Select. Please check the text. I agree. So it will prepare the report for around 200 million people. But I think this is a paid tool. It will ask for payment at the end. Then another tool is annual reports. This tool, I have earlier discussed that annual reports we are available on the internet. All the financial data is available on the internet. To search all the annual reports, there is a tool available. I just show you that. Annualreports.com. This is the website. Company name, suppose Facebook. I search Facebook. See here. Internet information provider, premium industry. or any other CDAC. CDAC is not there, I think. Tried yesterday, it was working. Twitter. So if we are lucky, we will get some results here. So another tool is phone number finder. There are many tools available which are being used by us in our phones, like Truecaller. Whenever call comes to our phone, it already unknown number. If someone calls from unknown number and we have a Truecaller in our phone, then it already tells us that who is calling, by whose name this number is registered. So similarly, there are another tool like phonefinder.net, which is used to get the information. Put the area code, prefix, 4 digits, then you can find the phone number or zip code. So you can find the phone number of which person, but this website or this tool works for USA or Canadian phone numbers only. Then another tool, there is another tool known as email search. That's them.com. That's them.com is another tool for searching email. Let's see what is this. I'm not a robot. So email EKHIL@cdac.com. This is the email I am searching. Let's see it gives any result or not. No. So there must be an error in this tool. So there are lots and lots of tools. I have shown you some of the tools, but if you study this open source intelligence completely, there are more than 500 tools available, which are used to gather the information which is publicly available on the social networks, which is publicly available through Google search. So uh, depending upon the developer, depending upon the hacker, depending upon the pen tester, it depends upon the person, that what kind of tool is required and what kind of tool he wants to use. Okay. So next is Google Docs. This is one of the interesting topic, Google Docs. What is Google Docs? Basically, Google Docs is a technique that uses Google search and other Google applications to find security holes in the configuration and computer code that websites are using. Google Docking could also be used for open source intelligence. This technique involves using advanced operators in the Google search engine to locate specific errors of text within search results. Some of the more popular examples are finding specific versions of vulnerable websites. The concept of Google hacking dates back to 2002, when Johnny Lang began to collect Google search queries that uncovered vulnerable systems or sensitive information disclosures, labeling them Google Docs. The list of docs grew into a large dictionary of queries, which were eventually organized into an original hacking database. Okay. So what is Google Docs? It is a technique that is used by Google search engine to find the security holes Okay, so in 2002, Johnny Long began to collect Google search queries. He collect all the Google search queries and maintained a database which is used nowadays used to search or uh, or hack some of the things. Okay, so how it is done? So there are few examples. Cache, this keyword cache is used example.com for website. For example, if we generally search anything, I have searched google.com. I open google.com. I search admin. Okay, lots of results are coming here. But in other words, if I put some keyword in URL admin login, suppose I am putting this in URL. This is the keyword in URL. I am putting in URL is the keyword admin login. This means now Google engine will search only the URLs which are having admin login. Okay, so see how the our search is refined. See, now we will find all the websites which are having admin login pages. For example, this is a website having admin login page. Okay, and another website is, just wait, I just close all these things. And there is another website. See, admin login. Another website having admin login. This is the same website. This is another website having admin login. See, our research is refined. Our search is refined basically. So these are the keywords. There are lots and lots of keywords available. Link, example, link some website. It will show all the files which are linked to it. File type. It will show what type of file you want to search, whether it is a PDF file, whether it is a uh, uh, Word file, whether it is a text file. If we generally type any file, then it will give a lot of research. But if we refine our search, we will type file type and PDF. It will show all the PDF files. For example, PDF file of a computer we need. So we just copy this and I'll paste this. See, all the PDF files are coming here, which are available. This is PDF file, this is PDF file, then this is PDF file, this is PDF file. Our search has been refined. So hackers or pen testers use this these keywords to gather information which are related to that particular website or particular domain. Okay. For example, now we'll see an example in which we'll see all the public webcams. In URL, this is the I'll show you google.com. I have written in URL view frame mode. Now, what this query will do, there are lots of public webcams available in this world. So this query will show you all the public webcams available. See, This is the webcam which you can see live. I don't know of which country is this. I think China. You can monitor all these things publicly because these webcams are available publicly. Similarly, here this is another network camera, but I think it is not a night vision camera, so there is not any picture coming. So there is one vulnerable camera, webcam available, which is webcam XP5. So this is a vulnerable webcam. In this, what happens is this: it provides a username and login credentials to see the webcam. But somehow some people does not enter the credentials, or they don't manage the credentials, and this is available randomly on the internet. So we will see this webcam also. So I have entered this in your in title. In title means that it will search for the title which is having webcam XP5. Suppose this, I am opening this. See, you can see live webcam of some restaurant. So these are the informations which are available publicly. Similarly, if I open this link, don't know whose webcam we are going to access. See, someone's balcony's website webcam we are accessing. So by using these kinds of Google search techniques, the information can be gathered from many sources. So let's close these webcams. Otherwise, this is not. Please try, don't try this at home. Okay. Then we have, similarly, we have lots and lots of keywords, file type, ext, define, maps. I'm sharing you the references. You can read all these from here. Then another dangerous Google Docs are, for example, we want to search some log files. What normally information is gathered from where? We have a Google Docs. Can you see my screen? Actually, I think there is some network issue. See, now we are back. Okay. So now I was showing you this one, Google password. Now what we have done in this file type, we are searching for log, and in that file or log file there should be a word password. Okay, so suppose I am searching for this. See, this is a file having name and password. Then another file we are having. We can open another file. Uh, this is also clear cut that we can see that this is a password. See, name this, password this. So these are the information which are available publicly. So here password has been used many times. Suppose Control F, I search for password PASSWORD. See how many times it has been used. So by using these kind of Google Docs is very dangerous for the people who are not aware of these kind of things. Then another example for Google Docs is suppose I want to see the structure of Linux available. Okay, so uh, which is publicly available. So I will search this query in title index of etc/shadow means we will search file index of in which there is a path etc shadow. Okay, we'll search this. I think I have opened already this. So we'll see this. Let's see this. This is one of the major vulnerability. We can see the structure of ISO, some company or maybe system name. See, all the directory structure is available here. What is the version if they are using Ubuntu 2.4 server, this, port this, all the directory structure of the operating system. See, so from this we can get the users, what are the users available using. So this is the very dangerous information which is available on net. So the pen tester use this information. See, X11 aliases, auto, Bluetooth. This is another structure of the available publicly operating system. Users, search for users. So some password files are also available. FTP users, see FTP users, they are available. These are the FTP users which are available online. So we just close this because don't want to. Then we should close this also. We have another this thing. Control C. Then another query for Google Docs. In text index of means I am searching for a text which is having index of then directory which is having password.txt file. These are the directories which are open and having password.txt file in them. So for example, I am searching first one, second one. So you will see this. This is a directory structure, password.php. Password file is available here. Then this is another directory in which password protected PHP file is available. So this is the information which is available publicly here. You can see if I open, I think this is password protected, so I will see nothing. But anyhow, this information is available. We have a vulnerability in our OWASP known as directory structure, open directory structure vulnerability, which is a very high vulnerability. Similarly, if I see this, so see, This is the directory which is available openly. Don't know why. This is the WordPress content plugins, WooCommerce templates, my accounts. For to whom it belongs? www.alabama.gov, government website. Alabama Board of Nursing. Their whole website is vulnerable. If we try this error, see IP address is shown, proxy IP address is shown, incident number is shown, everything we are getting. This is on I think PHP. Then we can try this includes .php C404 error. If we go here again, now earlier session we studied, we'll see here network and reload this domain. See what we can find. Response address. What are the JavaScripts used? JavaScript is available. So this is the methods by which we can gather the information available on internet freely. People should be aware, and our pen testers are more sharp that they can find one another way to get this information which is available publicly, and by using this information they further exploit the websites. They can enter into any website. If they do brute forcing, there are several techniques due to which they can enter into website and get the information. So this is the one of the most important part of penetration testing, information gathering. This is the first step, and we have another standard. We are following standards of OWASP. So you can, if you want to study detail about information gathering, you can search for OWASP information gathering techniques. Okay, to sanitize this Google docking. Okay, to sanitize this Google docking, there is a robot.docs.txt file, which is a well-known file for search engine optimization and protection against Google docking. It involves the use of robots.txt to disallow everything or specific endpoints, which prevents Google bots from crawling sensitive endpoints such as admin panels. Okay, to sanitize this Google docking, we should not allow robots.txt publicly to be available, and if it is available, then we should disallow all the things or methods or directories which can be accessed publicly. They should be disallowed into the robots.txt. So if we sanitize this robots.txt, then we can get sanitized from Google docking kind of thing. So this was my whole presentation about information gathering. Or I have earlier told you that this is one of the most important uh, step and initial step for penetration testing. So without this information gathering, we cannot do anything further to exploit any website, to get into that website, to get details of username and password, etc. So if uh, we are in a position that we have a very good information about the target URL or target website, then we can have very good exploitation for that. So this was all about my presentation. If you have any query, then let me know.